Anyone who works in a creative field relies on their creative energy to do their job. But naturally, when we're using creative energy every day, it's natural for us to get a little bit drained and feel like we're sort of out of touch with what inspires us. Whether you feel like you're stagnating in your productivity, your inspiration, or just your career path overall, here are just a couple things that I think about to try to keep myself on track. Especially when our work schedule is heavy, we become so used to being in the performing role, whatever kind of performing that may be, that we forget what it's like to actually be in the audience and experience art. Whether it's attending a concert or just going to a museum and looking at art, it's great to step out of the performer-artist role and get back into the audience role. It's great to step out of your own creative process and observe somebody else's. For those of us who are highly productive, we might find that everything we do is goal-driven. If that's the case, we might be a little bit out of touch with doing our art just for pure enjoyment. If you're a musician, it might be helpful to find some new music to play for fun, play some duets with a friend, or just do something that feels like it's recreational regarding your art. Try to get back in touch with the feeling that you had when you weren't a professional and you were inspired to make this your career. Alternatively, if you're not a super goal-oriented person, setting some goals might actually help inspire you. If you don't know what you're working towards, it's hard to keep working. Whether you just want a certain kind of gig, you want to be playing more of a certain kind of music, you can set some short-term and long-term goals and set up a task list of how you're going to achieve them. Start by brainstorming anything that sounds appealing, and after you flesh out the ideas, it'll be clear which ones you want to do the most. It's so important to talk to other people in your field. When you're constantly working on different projects and pushing yourself, it's easy to get out of touch with what other artists are going through. Sitting down for coffee with a friend and talking about what you're up to and what they're up to will help you step outside of yourself and get a broader idea of what it's really like in your field. There's no doubt you'll be able to relate on a lot of things, and you'll probably get some inspiration and ideas from your colleague as well. There's definitely no shame in asking for advice. If there's someone you look up to or you feel is doing really well, don't hesitate to take them out to coffee and get to know their process a bit more. It's surprising how much people on the outside might have a really strong perception of what your strong suits are and have some ideas of how you could be productive. Lastly, we don't take breaks enough as artists. In order to keep our creative juices flowing, it's really important to just disengage from the productivity sometimes and just take in life. Most of us are so busy as freelancers, we don't really have the luxury to take a week-long vacation, but even taking a day or a weekend completely off from work can really refresh. I hope this gave you some ideas of what to do when you're feeling a little bit stuck in your creative field. Be sure to read the blog post to see more fleshed out details on these examples, and don't hesitate to leave your comments and suggestions as well. I'd love to hear from you what you do to get yourself out of a creative rut or what you find particularly successful. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel or let me know what you'd like to see next. If you want to help support the production of these videos, you can become my patron on Patreon.